Good morning and welcome to Faith Fridays with Coach Ellis. This is the day I spend just a few minutes talking to you about issues of faith. Principles from the book of life to help us walk this path. For the last several weeks, we've been talking about how to beat the giants in your life. And we talked about the story of David and Goliath. We talked about the idea that it doesn't matter how the giant got there. He's there. It doesn't matter. You can't let other people talk you out of what you've been destined to do. We've talked about the idea that you can't win with somebody else's stuff. Malcolm, we even talked about this idea that you can trash talk versus truth talk. And so for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about these 5 smooth stones. We talked about that first stone, which was the keystone, that applied pressure, and pressure was applied. And if you use that stone, it simply will be a pressure-filled environment. Last week we talked about the millstone, or the whetstone, Lady D, and that's a stone that's used to sharpen you. But if you use that to kill your giant, you might hurt yourself. But the other piece of that it may not completely do the job. So today I want to talk to you about, Jennifer, about this third smooth stone that David picked up. I believe it was the grindstone. Now, if anybody's familiar with the old apothecaries, old pharmacists, they take roots and they take berries and they put them in this little crucible-looking bowl. Then they take this little mallet thing and they start grinding it up. In the old country, back in Africa, they grind up. They're the Native Americans. They grind it up. This is the grinding stone, and what this grinding stone does, it takes the big chunks and makes them very small. It takes those huge pieces and it grinds them down to a fine dust. And see, if we're going to fight the giants with a grindstone, we take so much time grinding little by little. Now, the good thing about a grinding stone is that given enough time, you can grind down any problem to its lowest elements. You can grind it down to its simplest thing. If you got enough time, you can do that. The problems with a lot of the giants in our lives is we don't have the time to simply grind it out day after day, week after week. Otherwise, it would simply be a normal problem, not necessarily a giant. But the other piece of that is, the good part about that is, if you're grinding, every time you grind, it gets smaller and smaller. If we're honest about it, Jennifer, we're just kind of impatient with that giant like that. If we're grinding it out, it's like watching grass grow. It's like watching paint dry. We know it's happening, but it just takes so long. And most of us don't have the patience to grind it out. But the good news is that our Creator has given us the ability to have patience enough while He grinds some things out in our life. To be honest with it, we can use the grinding stone, but the grinding stone is mostly for us. It's God's way of grinding out of us slowly but surely our bad habits, slowly but surely our stinking thinking, slowly but surely our lack of faith, slowly but surely. That's God's way of grinding us down from being so big in ourselves to our base elements. And Paul, the good thing about this is that David understood that he had the option of that grinding stone. And had he used it, he might still be fighting that giant today. It'd be a little smaller, but still be fighting it. So I just want to deposit this into your system this morning, that you can use that stone, but that grinding stone is really designed for God to use on you. So on this day, if I had to leave you with a thought, that don't be shy of the grinding stone. You can use it to chip away at your giant, but know as you're doing that, God is chipping away at you, at the things that He wants to chip away so you become more like Him. Hey, I'm Coach Ellis. If you got questions, comments, go and leave them down here in the comments section. Shoot me an email at coach@elliscrum.net or catch me on Facebook at Coach Ellis. Until next week, when we're going to talk about that fourth stone, that sinless stone, next week on Faith Fridays. You're listening to Coach Ellis. Have a one tablet, Faith, grinding it out Friday. God bless you, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.